Good morning. I'm a few minutes late this morning, you guys. I apologize. I had to restart everything because I tried to connect a minute ago and it just would not connect. But it looks like everything is good to go now. So without further ado, happy Friday Eve. About time, right? This week for me has just been going on and on and on, and I'm so glad that tomorrow is actually Friday. I feel like I've done a lot this week. I hope you guys are feeling that way too. I hope you feel like you have accomplished a lot this week and have been feeling productive. So I'm gonna have to go through this whole comments thing again. Hi Suzanne, hey Danielle, Nancy, it's so good to see you guys. So again, I don't know what is going on with the comments. Come on back up here. There we go. All right. Sorry, you guys. I don't know what it is. Facebook sometimes it just has an attitude. And for whatever reason, since the last update, I have to actually swipe to get the comments to come up. And it's not just once. I have to do it like a bunch of times. So I'm sorry if you were like getting a little seasick there. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Tina. I'm so glad to see you guys. So what do we have in store today? Well, so glad you asked. We're going to create a Lariat style necklace. And I love Lariats. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you feel about them, but I feel like a lot of times when we do a Lariat project, you guys get really excited about it because it's really simple to recreate and they are so fun to wear because they're so versatile. You can do so many different things with a Lariat that, you know, it makes it a really kind of fun style that the piece, like the moving parts of it are the same, but the way that you wear it, everybody's personality shows, right? Depending on if you wear it as a choker, if you wear it down low, or if you tie a knot in it, or how you wrap it around, just makes it a really kind of fun, very personal piece that really kind of shows off your personality just in the way that you wear it. So I think it's pretty cool, and I'm excited because we're using my School of Magic house. We're going to be using the Cunning snake mix, so this is going to be in our beautiful green color. Hold on, guys. Said that people can barely hear me, so let me make sure everything is... Now. Can you hear me better? I've been using this microphone for other things, and I always forget to adjust the settings, and sometimes I have to plug it back in. I just really need to update my whole setup here, guys. I need a better setup. I need a better iPad and a better microphone, maybe a better Facebook, because that usually seems to be the one that causes me the most problems is just the Facebook. Hey, Joan. Good morning, guys. Is everybody awake? Angie says, there we go. Good. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, too, because I would have just kept on going and you guys wouldn't have been able to hear me very well. So definitely let me know. So like I was saying, we're going to be using the Cunning snake mix from the collection of School of Magic. It's the green. Even if you don't like snakes, this is still a fabulous green mix. And we're going to be using some Hematite colored chain to go with this because I love Hematite color. It's perfect for this time of year. I don't know what the weather's like where you are. It's rainy and gross today here, but the temperature is coming down, right? So that makes it feeling very fallish, even though we're only, maybe 2 days into the season officially. But in my mind, couldn't get here fast enough. So let's take a quick stroll down the weekly deals lane, and then we will get right to this project. So for the weekly deals, I know you guys heard them on Monday, but there is no reason why we can't refresh your memory, just in case you have forgotten. This week you can get 20% off on red, orange, yellow, and brown, and the code for that is Step Into Fall. No spaces with that, and that is good all week until Monday, guys. The weekly deals change on Mondays, so you've still got plenty of time to use that 20% off. This does exclude the School of Magic collection because it's brand new, but you guys understand that's just kind of how it goes when there are new releases. All right, next is buy 3 get 1 free on Czech glass beads, and the code for that is Sparkle Czech, no spaces. And this is one of my favorite deals. I love it when Czech glass is on sale because
I use Czech glass for a lot of things. It makes a really good filler for other things, so it works really beautifully with the existing Jesse James beads that I already have, but it also can stand alone as an absolutely beautiful bead. And if you don't believe me, then come and hang out with me tomorrow on Sara Ellis Designs, because we're using some of the Czech glass beads to create a goddess style bracelet. And it's just a really beautiful project and a great way to show off your favorite Czech glass beads. So definitely take advantage of that. Buy 3, get 1 free. And then last but not least, the weekly deal is 2 times the loyalty points on bead mixes. And for those of you who are new or who are not familiar with the Love Club, that is the loyalty program that Jesse James Beads has put together for customers who shop all of the time. Even if you don't shop all the time and you only shop some of the time, you can earn love points that you can then turn into beads or money. Well, you know what I mean. It's like, it's money towards beads. So it's just beads of good stuff. So you accumulate your points as you shop, and then when you get enough points, then you can turn those into vouchers that you can then use to buy products from the website. It's just a really cool opportunity to kind of give yourself a little treat and, you know, make that shopping a little bit more worthwhile, right? Who doesn't like to have, it's like frequent flyer miles for beads, right? It's such a cool thing. And you can sign up for that when you go to the website. There is a little bar down at the bottom in pink, and it says the Love Club. So just click on that and it'll show you how easy peasy it is. Bead money. Yes, it'll show you how easy it is to sign up for the Love Club. And so during this week, if you buy bead mixes, you're going to get double the love points. So you're going to really rack up on those points, and there's no code needed for that. All you got to do is shop. So, I mean, that makes it pretty darn easy. All right. So shall we take a quick look-see? Can we? Let me just click over here on the computer real quick to take a look at the School of Magic, because you guys, this stuff is absolutely phenomenal. If you've not had a chance to check out this collection, just kind of looking to see. So it looks like everything is still available. I have to look, because these collections like this are exclusive and they are limited edition, meaning that there's only so many of these that exist in the world, right? So if you haven't gotten your hands on one, you might miss your opportunity to get one, because they sell out like crazy. And this collection has been really super popular. So I wanted to just check to make sure, but it looks like you can still grab one of each one. If you are interested, there is a gorgeous mix of soft flex that goes with each one of the School of Magic houses, as well as a gorgeous strand of silver silk and the end findings for that. So get everything you need right there in one place. You can go to the website and click on new, and it will show you all of the new things, or you can click shop and it will bring a drop down menu, and under collections, School of Magic is one of the drop downs. You can go straight to it and filter out everything else and see the entire collection. It is gorgeous, and we've done projects with all of these. On Friday, on Sara Ellis Designs, I did the Brave Lion collection, so that's kind of the representation of the Gryffindor house. On Monday, we used the Ravenclaw blue for the Wise Raven, and then Neela did Hufflepuff, which is the beautiful yellow. And even if you're not a yellow person, guys, this is a amazing yellow metal mix. Oh, so good. Has black in it, and it's just yummy. And Kristen Fagan and Sarah Ayler did a green necklace, I believe, using the Cunning snake. So we're going to use the Cunning snake again, because that's my house. I haven't used my house yet, so we're going to do that. So there are plenty of projects to choose from. If you need to like refresh your memory on all of the projects, you can always go over to the Jesse James Beads blog and pull down, and all of the projects are right there. Speaking of which, if you want to get the goods to recreate today's project, there is a link in the description of today's Facebook Live, and you can go directly to the blog and see all of the Get the Good info for you. So sign up for that newsletter, because you'll always get that, right? You'll always have the Get the Goods. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let's take a quick look-see at these beads. I know you guys have seen them a few times, so it never hurts to just take a quick little glance at them. And then let's get to this Lariat project. This is an easy one. We're just going to do some wire wrapping. We're using some head pins. We are using a little bit of 22 gauge wire. And we're going to mix in some chain and just make this a really fun, easy project that you can personalize your own way. All right, so let's do this. Let's do it, shall we? All right. So these are just some of the beads that I pulled out because we are going to use these. Some of them have already been wire wrapped. We are going to wire wrap the rest of these, and I wanted to show you kind of the star of this show, and that is this amazing snake charm. Gosh, it's so cool. Such a cool feature to this mix. I really, really love it. And I wanted to show you the other beads that are in here, just in case you forgot. My favorite bead in this entire mix is this guy. I don't know if you can tell. Let me adjust the light just a little bit. I don't know if you can really tell. I hope that you can. That shift in the color. So this is like green, but it also has blue and purple and pops of like goldish, kind of golden shadow in. Oh, it's so pretty. Like I want a whole set of jewelry just made out of this bead. And I think it would look really awesome as a wire wrapped ring. I think I might have to do that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. There is some dyed agate that is in this mix that are really, really beautiful. These guys, we're going to use one of these in our project today. And don't forget about the charm, well, not charm, but the shell beads that are custom printed just for Jesse James beads. These are exclusive, guys. You're not going to find these anywhere other than in this mix. And there are 2 of these in each one of the mixes. And I also want to say there are some beads missing from this that I have used in another project. I put together some really cool keychains, one for each one of the School of Magic houses. So I do have some beads that are missing, but there's still plenty here to work with, right? I mean, there's still a lot. So if you're wondering where the second one of these went and some of the other beads, they are in another project. But like I said, there's still a ton. The bohos are absolutely gorgeous. We're going to use one of these in our project for today. And there are these really cool spacer beads. I wish that I had incorporated these into today's design, but I honestly didn't think about it until afterwards. So I really, really love these. I think these would look cool. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but we did a project where we used jump rings as kind of part of the design. These would look really awesome in part of a design. And then there are some tassels, and bead caps, of course. So there's a gorgeous selection here, and this is just the mix. So there's also the strand and the silver silk and the soft flex wire as well. So you can get like the whole bundle and just make some beautiful green goodness with all of it, right? You don't have to be a snake person to love green. Green, it looks good. Green is like blue. It looks good on just about everybody. So, all right, let's get started with the project. What we are going to be using is I have some hematite colored stamped chain. This is a bead-along chain. You can grab this over on the Jesse James Beads website. And again, this is in part of the Get the Goods on the blog. So if you're looking for this chain, this is the one that I'm going to use. You could use silver silk for this. You could use fairy silk for this. You could even use leather for this project. I'm just really a huge fan of the hematite color, so that's what I wanted to mix in with my green. I thought it just looked really classy and cool with the greens and blacks that are in this mix. Get yourself a really long length of this. I've got about 30 to 40 inches. I'm not exactly sure. I think it kind of falls in the middle there. But this is one of those projects where it's really going to kind of depend on how long you want your Lariat necklace to be. That's really going to be the determining factor of what your measurements are going to be. So your measurement of chain may not be the same as mine, okay? All right, you're going to need some other chain as well. I'm using some bitty chain, some really tiny little hematite colored. It's just regular kind of cable chain, I guess. And I have this cut in 5 pieces and they are in tiered lengths. So I've got one that's really long for the middle, and by really long, I mean like 1.5 inches. And then they get shorter as they go. We're going to create a little kind of tassel out of our little chain pieces, okay? and we're going to group all that together with a piece of 22 gauge wire. So let's do that part first, okay? And then the rest of this is going to be a little bit of wire wrapping and then really just kind of constructing the whole rest of the necklace, okay? All right, so to start out with, I'm using I've got about 6 inches here, maybe 7 inches of 22 gauge wire. I'm using German style wire for this in silver color. You can use artistic wire if you want to. I always just prefer the German style wire for this kind of project. So what I'm going to do, the very first thing I want to do is I want to take all of the little pieces of the chain that I have cut. And it looks like I had more than 5 here. Let's see. Let me move this out of the way so that we don't have any problems with our focusing here, okay? And I'm going to try to lay these out so that I can figure out the order here. So that's clearly the middle piece. And this guy looks a little bit longer. So the middle piece, I've only got 1 in that length. I've got 2 in all of the other lengths. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm just going to take my pieces of chain and I'm going to thread them onto my piece of 22 gauge wire and bring it to the middle. Now, if you've not already cut your chain, this is a really good opportunity to cut your chain. Just put on as many pieces of the chain as you want, right? And then you can trim it up after it's already hanging. So then that way you can really get the shape of the tassel that you want. So you can see how mine is kind of tiered. I've got that kind of stair step. So the shortest piece is only like 4 links and then they just gradually get longer and that longest piece is going to be in the middle. So just thread on all of, as many links as you want or as many sections of chain as you want and then cut it. Just makes it a lot easier than trying to figure it out before you put it on here. But I had to, obviously, because I had already pre-cut all of this. All right, so there are our chain pieces. It looks like we've got, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we had 7. I thought I had 5, but I've got 7. I definitely... Oh my gosh, Joan, that's so funny. She said, I'm designing a Lariat necklace with a hematite chain, but finally using the Sara Ellis ringleader bead set. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love Lariat necklaces and I love that you still have my beads. That's fantastic. Okay, so we're just creating a little tassel here. And of course with this, you could make this even thicker if you wanted to. It's really kind of up to you how bulky you want your chain tassel part to be, okay? So now what I want to do is I want to kind of keep this in the middle. I'm holding on to all of that and I'm going to take my 2 ends of my wire and just bring them together in a kind of a loop. And I've crisscrossed the wires. Okay. That's going to kind of help keep keep all the chain in place, right? And I've still got some wiggle room there, right? I didn't bring it down super, super close to the chain pieces. I've got a little triangle of spacing in here. And that's exactly what I want because we're going to wire wrap this. I'm going to take one of the wires and bend it so it is going straight up and down, right? And then the other wire, I'm going to bend it so that it goes straight out the other direction, right? So we've got one going up and one going either to the right or the left, whichever you prefer, okay? Now, I'm gonna come in with my bent chain nose pliers. I'm gonna hold on to the wire just right above those pieces of chain, just so I can get a really good grip on it, okay? And now I'm gonna take this long piece of the wire and I'm gonna wrap it around this straight piece of wire here. Instead of doing my wire wraps going up this piece, I actually wanna do some of my wire wraps covering up this little triangle piece. So now my wire wraps are gonna go around to the bottom of where we started, right? So I'm kind of wire wrapping over our loop, like the top part of our little loop section that's holding all of our chain pieces together, right? You can do as much of this as you want to, or as little of this as you want. You don't have to do it at all. You can just do your regular wire wraps going upwards. I sometimes like to change it up, and I am going to kind of bulk it up a little bit by going back up over some of those, right? So I just kind of gave it a double layer of the wire wraps. And now I'm going to come in with my chain nose pliers. I'm actually going to undo that one just a little bit and trim that off. Okay. So we kind of have that slouchy sock of wire there, right? All right, now the next thing I want to do is I want to drop down onto the wire here over our chain section one of these gorgeous boho beads, because I can't not use this. It's so absolutely gorgeous. I have to have this in my project, but you can use whichever bead you want to here. I just thought this was the perfect topper to our little tassel, and we are going to hang some beads from the bottom of this as well, but I just want to get the tassel structure in place first, and then we can start adding some beads to the bottom of this. Okay, so I'm just going to do a wrapped loop here. I'm going to grab the wire where it is exiting the top of the bead with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to bend the wire out this direction. Now when I remove the pliers, I've got that little bit of space there to come in with my round nose pliers. And I'm taking that wire up and over the top barrel of the round nose pliers and then rolling the pliers out of the way so that I can take the wire on over to the other side. Okay, now I'm going to use the tail end of the wire to wrap around that straight section of wire between the loop and the top of the bead. And I'm using my pliers to hold on. You don't have to, you can use your fingers. I change it up. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just really kind of depends. And again, if you feel like this is uneven because you've got bulky wire here, you can go back over these wraps that you've already made with the tail end of your wire to bulk this up as well, so that it is kind of the same weight as far as visually. If you want to, I'm just going to leave mine like it is, and I'm going to come in with my cutter tool and trim off the tail. Okay. All right. So this little section is pretty close to being done, but we want to hang some beads from the bottom of this because it needs gorgeousness. It needs more beautiful things, right? I mean, it looks okay, but it's not a whole lot of chain. So in order to make this really a fabulous kind of tassel, we are going to add some great beads to this. So for our center bead, I'm going to use one of these gorgeous oval shaped green beads. I'm going to use some of these table cut Czech glass to kind of go up, and then I'm going to use these really cool Czech glass beads that are like a swirl of black and green together. They're very snake-like, really gorgeous. And then last but not least, I've got these little kind of, I keep calling these star cut. I don't know that that's actually what they are, but they are very similar to star cut in the shape. So we're gonna finish off with those guys on the top. So heavier on the bottom, kind of working up towards some smaller beads when we get to the shorter sections of chain. Okay, so to do this, I'm gonna just use head pins for this because all of the bead holes are really consistent, and I don't need to make any of my own head pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I don't know why. 5, 6, 7. 7 head pins it is. All right. So I'm just going to start with the bottom bead. We're going to do the wrapped loops on all of these first, and then we'll attach these with some small little 4mm jump rings after we, well, no, actually we'll do it as we go. That'll help you see it a little bit better. All right, so I'm just going to drop a bead down, and I'm doing wrapped loops here, but you can absolutely do simple loops if you want to. You don't have to do a wrapped loop. Totally up to you, okay? I just prefer a wrapped loop, right? So bending that wire, and now I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. Same steps as always, up and over. Rolling the pliers out of the way. I'm going to switch hands, and then I'm going to wire wrap. We're going to do this quite a few times, guys. I actually pre-wrapped a lot of the beads so that we wouldn't do this a million bazillion times, but we're still going to do it a lot. But I figure that's okay, right? It never hurts to see a good wire wrap more than once. So there's that guy. Jane says, I love our little beady family. Oh, I do too. We have such a great community. All right. I can say I've seen a little bit more of some of you than I... Is Ginger here? Ginger knows what I'm talking about. I've seen Ginger living her best life. So funny. All right, so now I'm just going to keep... Actually, you know what? I said I was going to attach these as we go, so let's do that just so you can see the placement of all of these in case you want to put yours in the exact same place. So I've just got a little tiny 4mm hematite colored jump ring. You can use silver here if you want to. I'm just going to attach that to the wrapped loop that I just made, and I'm going to attach this to the bottom link of our middle chain piece that is the longest one out of all of them, okay? And I'm just going to use my chain nose pliers to close that jump ring back. Okay, so now you can see we've got that bead hanging there in the center. Okay, and then we're just going to kind of build out from there. So we've got one of these gorgeous Czech glass beads. These are so pretty. They're black and they have like that green outer rim to them. They're so pretty. I love table cut Czech glass with that nice smooth surface on them. They're just, there's nothing like that else out there. All right. Going to bend the wire, and again some wrapped loops are in order, so we're just going to go up and over, roll the pliers over to the other side, okay, and then I'm going to come in with my cutter tool. Jen says I've seen more ginger than some people want to see. Right? Yep. That ginger. But you know, the way I feel about it is that we should all be like Ginger. Ginger she makes no apologies and she's just fabulous. Now, I want to be the same way. I'm a Ginger groupie. All right. So more wrapped loops. You guys, last night I went and I spent some time with my mom, which I haven't seen her in a long time, so it was really nice to spend some time with her. And she's got a poodle that is still very much puppyish, like she's full grown, but she still has all that puppy energy. And she's very mouthy, and she got me with one of her long canine teeth, you know, the long ones. She got me right in the soft spot in my hand here. So using my pliers, like my whole hand is sore today. It's funny because it's not bruised on the outside, but I can definitely feel it inside. All right, so we've got 2 of these table cut Czech glass beads, and we're going to attach those on either side of our center bead here. I'm just going to use my chain nose pliers. Always use 2 pairs to open and close your jump rings. Grab the jump ring on either side with your pliers and twist open. You don't ever want to pull them apart because you'll never get them back in that nice round shape again. So always use that twisting motion when you are opening your jump rings, okay? And closing them. It's the exact same movement. Okay, and we just want to close that back. So there's one on one side, and you can see now why the difference in the length. Like this middle length of chain, at first without a bead hanging on it, it looks very, very long until you add the bead to the chain piece next to it. And then you realize it's because I needed to make room for those beads, right? So there needed to be that much difference in that center piece than the next tier up, because I just really wanted to be sure that the beads were not crowding each other out. So when you're cutting your pieces of chain or whatever kind of material it is that you're using to create a tassel that you intend to add beads to the bottom of, definitely take into consideration how large your beads are, because that's going to make a difference if you want all of your beads to be at varying lengths and you want them all to be shown, right? You want to give them all their kind of place in the design without being crowded out. Right, so there are those guys on either side, and we've got 4 more beads to go, and they're a little bit smaller beads, right? So the difference in the chain here is not nearly as drastic as that center piece. Okay, so let's wire wrap these guys up real quick. And then we will put these on our tassel as well. Okay. Last night was the first time I had seen my mom. I've only seen her one other time. That was on my birthday since March because of the pandemic stuff. We're really trying, and some people are, you know, I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that feel like we are being overly cautious, but we've got some elderly members in our family, and we just want to be safe, you know. So this is only the second time I've seen her since March, even though she lives about 5, maybe 8 minutes from my front door. Just trying to be safe. So it was nice to spend some time with her. Long overdue. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do these other 2 small beads, and then we'll add these in. The size of these is so similar to each other that I feel like it'll be all right. And you'll realize that the placement of these 2 shapes doesn't make that much of a difference just because they're so similar in size. I think the little star cut beads are maybe just a tiny bit smaller than the Czech glass rounds, but not by much. So if you accidentally mixed them up and put them in opposite spaces, I don't think it would matter visually. Maggie says you can't be too careful. I know, particularly when it comes to my mom. So, you know, I mean, she's not elderly by any means, but I would be really upset if I felt like I got my mom sick. You know what I mean? Definitely don't want to get anybody sick that you care about. So, all right. Ooh. Oh goodness, come on now. I'm struggling today with that. Don't know why. All right. Oh, Danielle, I'm so sorry. She hasn't seen her family since the holidays of 2019. It's so rough. It's so hard, you guys. It really, really is. And I'm so thankful that we have, you know, we can FaceTime, we can call. You know, if we're long distance now with cell phone companies, they don't charge you by the minute anymore like they used to. At least most companies don't. And so I feel like we are still able to connect. I can't even imagine going through this without being able to connect with people. I feel like it would just be a very, very bad situation if we couldn't, you know, at least see each other virtually. So all right, so there is our Czech glass on our next step up. I'm going to put the other one on the other side here just to keep it even as we are building here. Yes, thank God for technology. And it's crazy because I know some people never thought they would say the day, you know, that they were thankful for technology, because it can be such a, you know, it has its goods and its bads, you know. But I feel like in this situation, we should be very thankful for the technology that we have. See how that's coming together? The bead shapes look so much different once you add the beads to the bottom of the chain than when you just have those chain pieces hanging there with nothing on them. I absolutely love a good chain tassel. Don't get me wrong. I think that they look fabulous. But there is something to be said for a tiered chain tassel with beads on the bottom of it that just... it really makes me happy, of course, because you guys know I love dangles of any variety when it comes to beads and, you know, jewelry. But I feel like it really brings this whole look together to put the beads on the ends. Okay, so here's our last little bead going on the last little short piece of our chain. If I can find it, find that little jump ring. Come on, there we go. Okay. All right, so now you can see how cool that looks. So even when it's hanging and swinging and, you know, the beads are kind of doing their own thing, it's still very, very cool, even if it's not like laid out and everything's in its perfect little place. But just for future reference, whoa, I can keep it in my hand. These kinds of tassels with beads on the end are so much easier to photograph. And I know that's no reason to like design something, like you should design something because you like it. But if you struggle with photographing your pieces, these lay out so nicely when you lay them flat. So let that be a bonus, okay? That's a good bonus for making a cool beaded tassel, because when you lay them out flat and straighten out all of the pieces of chain, it looks really beautiful and makes a good photo. Okay, so the other end, this obviously is going to hang on one end of our lariat. This is going to be the bottom piece on one end. We're going to make another bottom piece with our snake, and this piece is going to be a little bit less busy. This one's got a lot going on. This one is a little bit less because I really want the snake to be part of this. However, we are going to add, remember these other beads that I had already wire wrapped? I'm going to add these to the actual chain portion of the lariat. So we are going to add more beads to this, but these are just the end pieces, okay? So to connect these two together, I'm going to use an eye pin. Now, if you don't want to use an eye pin, you want to make your own little, you know, loop for this green bead, you absolutely can do that. With a piece of 22 gauge wire, just kind of keeping it simple. So I'm going to have a loop, and then I'm just going to connect those two with a jump ring. Okay. And for the top of this though, I do want to go ahead and do a wrapped loop. If you don't like having a wrapped loop on one end and a regular loop on the other end, you can do just a simple loop on the top. But I'm a fan of the wrapped loop, so everywhere I can put it, I do. Okay, so we're just doing another wrapped loop here, just following the same steps as always. Oh, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that so, so much. All right, so I don't know if you guys heard that, but that went flying across the room and hit something metal. It was probably very soft on your end if you heard it at all, but it just went ding. You should cover up when you cut your pieces. I'm so bad about, not covering things up, and I have wire pieces. They just go flying everywhere. That's probably the most unprofessional thing that I do in my jewelry making. So I try to be mindful of it when I'm in person teaching with other people, because I don't want to hit anybody in the eye, obviously. But I gotta say I'm really bad about that. All right, so just using a jump ring to attach to the top of my snake, and then I'm going to attach here as well. Now, I know I mentioned this before, but I think it's worth repeating just so that you know. I'm using the hematite colored jump rings for this just because I have them. You can use silver jump rings for this, and you can use silver chain. Don't feel like you are stuck with what I'm giving you here, okay? You definitely can use silver. You could even do this in gold, and it would look absolutely beautiful. The green and gold makes such an amazing, beautiful combination. So you go with whatever metal choices you want. I feel like the jump rings are so small that it doesn't matter if they're silver or they're hematite colored at all, okay? All right, so here are our two end pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and attach these to the bottom of our chain, and then we'll add some more beads to our chain just to kind of make it even more fun, if you will. Okay, so we don't use any hardware when it comes to a lariat style necklace. That's the cool part about it, is that it's all about how you tie it or attach it to yourself, right? Wrap it around whatever, but you don't need a clasp, and I love jewelry that is like that. So I'm just going to use some 6mm jump rings just to kind of keep them sort of the same shape and sizing as the chain here, to attach our bottom little dangles to either end of our chain. So just attaching those on. Okay, there's our snake on one side, and then our beaded tassel on the other side. Now, you could be done at this point if you wanted to, right? You don't have to add extra beads to this, because this would look amazing just like it is, right? I mean, you've got two beautiful ends, but I really do love to add extra to everything. I'm just more is more. That's always kind of my mindset with things. So I had gone ahead just to save some time, and these beads that are in this mix, this is another one of those kind of green, I don't know if you can tell, that's why I'm moving it. I don't know if you can tell, but it has like green and brown and black and like gray all through. It looks like snakeskin, which I know is why the bead team chose these beads, but I feel like it has just not gotten its day in the sun, and it totally deserves it because these beads are so cool. And each one of them is different, right? They have their own little personality. They're very snaky. I like it. So I want to add some of these. I'm going to add probably in a staggered kind of way. And I'm just going to use some jump rings to attach these. And I don't have an exact location for these at all. They're just wherever I feel like putting them. And I've got two more. So we can do some on the other side as well. And then just to kind of make it heavier on one side, if you will, I'm gonna put, actually, you know what? Let's put one on each side. I have the other two little Czech glass beads that match the ones that are in our tassel. Let's attach those two, and let's do it like this. I was gonna do both of them on one side, but I feel like it'll look better like that. Okay, so to attach these, again, I'm just using some jump rings, and you can use whatever size, whatever color, just whatever you want. And there is no like exact placement. I'm just really going to kind of eyeball it. I want them kind of staggered out. So I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to leave my chain piece laying down. That just to me seems like it's easier to kind of get a good look at the placement here. So I just hooked on to one of the links of chain. Just going to close that back. I'm going to straighten it back out so I can get a good look for where, let me scoot this one out of the way. Let's just work on this one for now. Kind of get a good look of the placement and figure out how far apart you want your beads to be. And let's see, I want the next one to be right in here somewhere. Just hook it on, attach the bead, and then close the jump ring back. Just make sure that if you are using the same color jump ring as your as your chain, that you're getting your jump rings closed. I know that seems like, well, you know, of course you want to make sure that your jump rings are closed, but sometimes when you're using a hematite chain and a hematite jump ring, it's easy to not close that jump ring all the way and not see it, because they kind of disappear, right? They disappear in that hematite chain. So just want to be sure that you get really good closures on your jump rings. Just take an extra minute to make sure that you've got them. All right, that's a good spot right there. So you don't want to lose any beads on your way, you know, as you're out wearing this around. So there's that side, and I feel like that looks really cool. There's no real rhyme or reason to where I placed those beads, and you could really fill this up if you wanted to. You could use, because I mean, check it out, we've still got a ton of beads. You could add even more beads to this and really fill it up and make it nice and heavy and full with lots of color and movement if you want to. You very much just treat it the same way that you would like a charm bracelet. You just fill it up however full you want it to be. I'm keeping it kind of open with less beads, just so that each bead kind of gets its spot, but I feel like adding even more would be a cool look too. So, you know, just whatever makes you happy with this design. This is one of those designs, like all of the other ones, that, you know, you can really personalize this and make this your own. You don't have to follow my exact steps. The only real technique here is just the wire wrapping that we've done. So we've kept it very kind of simple technique wise, because this is an accessible kind of design that everybody can make. And I like that. I like to share that kind of design with you guys when I can. I love to teach you guys new techniques, but there's nothing wrong with, you know, keeping it simple and still having gorgeous pieces of jewelry. It'd be great if I could attach this jump ring somewhere as well. As I'm chatting, I'm like really struggling to find a spot for this guy, and I just lost it. Let's go with another one, shall we? I know you heard that one flying around. That one came over here and crashed on the computer. There we go. It was giving me a fit with that. I don't know why. All right, and we've got one more bead to add, and then I will put this on a bust. I did pull the longer length bust that I've got, since this is a Lariat necklace, so we can really kind of see the full length of this without having to pull it up too much on the small one. So, all right, there we go, you guys. So we've got plenty of movement, but you seriously could add so much more to this. You could make an even fuller tassel here. You could add extra beads in here if you wanted to kind of lengthen this part up a little bit. You could add the other boho to this if you wanted to. I mean, you really could just kind of take this in so many different ways. You could even add one of these guys in. I think that would have been really cool too, to have that in there. And, you know, even if you didn't want to, you have enough beads here that you could make a matching bracelet. You could make some matching earrings. If you wanted to add, ooh, the tassels would look cool. You could add little tassels to the chain as well. That would look really awesome. All right, so you've got a lot to work with here, but like I said, just keeping it easy. This was not a super hard design, but it's a really fun one that I feel like, you know, you can really kind of express your own personality with it. And I hope you guys will enjoy putting it together. So let me put this on the bust, and I'll show you guys the way I normally do it, but then I can show you a couple of other ways you can do this as well. And let's see, hold on. All right, I'm going to turn you guys around. Donna says, I'm not on the newsletter. How do I get on the list? You got to get on the newsletter list. You go over to the Jessie James Beads page and sign up. Just takes a second. All you got to do is enter your email. And yeah, you don't want to miss a thing. I'm telling you. Always something new and exciting with Jessie James Beads. Okay, so a lot of times when it comes to a Lariat necklace, this is the way that I will wear mine. Right? I loop one end and then I pull the other two ends through the loop, right? I really like it that way because I can adjust it throughout the day. So I can wear it up close to my neck like a choker, but like a man in a tie, you know, at the end of the day, you're like, oh, you're pulling at that tie. That's kind of how I am with my jewelry as well. And this style means that I can pull this down and open it up away from my neck, and I still have a really awesome design, right? I haven't really changed it much. Now, as far as all of the different ways that you can wear a Lariat style necklace, I'm not going to show you a million bazillion ways, but I will tell you this. You can Google or go to Pinterest and look at different ways to tie a scarf. I'm going to wrap it around here and show you a different way. All of the different ways that you can wear a scarf are the ways that you can wear a Lariat style necklace, as long as you've got enough length. So if you're curious about finding out, you know, a different way to do this, look up how to tie a scarf, because there's so many different, it's amazing how many different ways there are to tie a scarf. This is my other favorite way to wear it. If I'm going out and I'm like super glitzy dressed up, you know, I will a lot of times wear my Lariats this way. This is also my favorite way to wear a leather Lariat as well. When I wear a Lariat one, a leather one, and I wear it this way, I don't wear it with anything else. But when I wear it this way with like chain, or in this kind of, you know, fancy sparkly kind of configuration, this gives me the opportunity to layer other necklaces as well. So you can really build up a gorgeous kind of statement layered piece. And you've got all of this open room to add in other necklaces. So I really, really enjoy wearing it this way. It looks cool by itself, but it does open up that whole like area on the front of you so that you can add other pieces as well. So there are just two different ways. There are so many, guys. There's so many different ways. I'm trying to think if I can remember the loop through method. I don't think I can do that right off of the top of my head, but no, I don't think I can do it. I can't remember how it goes, but I'm telling you, all you got to do is just Google as I throw it in the floor. All you have to do is just Google how to tie a scarf. And I'm telling you, you'll look at your Lariat necklaces in a whole different way because there's so many different ways and they show your personality so differently. Some people knot them, you know, they wear them long and then just tie a big chunky knot in them. And I think that is so cool. To me, that's like the classiest. Let's do that one real quick and then I'll let you go. Like, I don't know. There's just something very, I don't know, reminds me of like people who are way classier than I am to to tie a knot in it, right? That to me is just such a cool look. I don't know, when I see somebody with a knot in their Lariat, I'm like, she knows fashion and she's got her life together. So, and as silly as that is, that's what jewelry does, right? Jewelry is all about making a statement, and something as simple as the way that you wear your necklace really says a lot about, you know, who you are to the rest of the world. Silly, I know, but it's true. All right, guys, so that is it for me today. Is the knot hard to undo? It is not hard to undo at all. It's just an overhanded knot. So it just, you know, it just slides right back out. Easy peasy. See, back apart again. Well, I have my snake kind of tangled into my chains here, but yeah, it comes undone really easy. It's not like you're tying a tight knot. It's a very loose, you know, it's a very loose knot. All right, so that is it for me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope I've given you some inspiration. I hope that you'll try out the Lariat designs if you've never tried them before. If you've never worn one, definitely give it a chance because it's such a cool, versatile piece to have in your jewelry collection. And it's one that I think sells very well in booths because of that reason, because it is so versatile in so many different ways. So if you wanted to have Lariats in your booth, I would definitely have like 3 or 4 busts with Lariats on them and show the different ways that you can tie them. Some of the coolest, most like fashion forward ways that people are wearing them. That's always a really good crowd pleaser if you're doing a booth. So definitely keep that in mind. And they're cool because you don't have to use hardware on them, right? You don't have to add a clasp or anything like that. So super cool, lots of fun. I hope you guys are inspired. And that is it for me. I will see you guys same time, same place next Monday. Well, no, next Thursday, same time, same place. You can catch me on Monday at 7 p.m. for our Maker Monday series. I'll have another fun project. I believe we're doing a leather project on Monday. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing. I think we're doing something fun and easy with some leather. And if you want to see a Czech glass project, you can catch me tomorrow on Sara Ellis Designs at 1 p.m. I just posted the event, so just go on over there and click it. I'll share it around so that you guys can take advantage if you want to see. Don't forget about the weekly deals. That's where that Czech glass comes into play, guys. It's buy 3, get 1 free. And so I wanted to show off, right? I wanted to show off some of that Czech glass because it does look beautiful mixed in with other things, but it is gorgeous all on its own. So we're going to make a Czech glass bracelet tomorrow if you want to come and hang out. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday. If not, I will see you same time, same place on Thursday next week. You guys have a great weekend if I don't see you. Bye. I love you.